Welcome, guys, to another video. Today, we've got a very special guest, a cosmetic dentist, an author, rapper, musician, viral TikTok creator. We've got Dr. Phil, who I'm excited to have with us today. So thank you, Dr. Phil, for coming on today.
What an introduction. Wow, I wasn't expecting that one. Now I feel like actually I might be quite important.
So before we get into it, just how have you been doing with the pandemic and getting used to a different working life?
I think initially, it was really tough because I'm still, I'm still young. I still want to go out, still want to see my friends and things like that. So initially there was a big adjustment, and now like I'm this, chilled, all meditating, yogaing guy, and I've taken up all these new hobbies. So I've adapted, reluctantly so, but yeah, I'm settling in. I'm trying not to let it take over too much, and just trying to get the dentistry on the up, basically.
But it looks like even though we had the lockdown in March 2020 and things seemingly slowed down, things that look like things picked up for you because you're working on some projects.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I literally all of a sudden, in lockdown, I was like, like all of us dentists wanted to use the time wisely.
Yeah.
So I was like, I've always wanted to, under my educational brand, Teach Teeth, which we'll obviously touch on in a bit, which aims to teach kids about oral health in a fun and engaging way. I wanted to create something tangible within that brand. And then I thought, okay, maybe a children's book's the right way to go. But I didn't realize how much of a big project it was. So it took basically that whole 3 months and more of lockdown to think of the ideas, write it, draw it up, and get it going. And it was really,
it was in that 3 months you actually started writing the content. You didn't have ideas or drafts from before that.
No, it was it was that from those 3 months. So basically the story of the book, interestingly, is how I came up with the book.
Yeah.
Right. So in the story, Dr. Phil, it's called Dr. Phil's Adventures. So Dr. Phil basically obviously brushes his teeth, then goes to bed.
Yeah.
And in his sleep, he has this sort of vision of going to the future to see what it would be like to go to the dentist in the future. And obviously in this future, there's this pandemic. So that was me in my head thinking of going to the future. And Dr. Phil's there and he's, treating these kids, and, there's all this new PPE. And then at the end of the story, he's like, well, how am I gonna tell everyone about this? And how am I going to inform the kids, what it's going to be like to go to the dentist? So in the book, he decides, right, I'm going to write a book about going to the future. And that's what it is, Dr. Phil's Adventures. And that's how it came about. I basically sort of had this like mini dream about, making this book, and then I decided to crack on and do it.
Gosh, awesome project. And the visuals look amazing. I've seen you post some of the visuals from the book. Yeah, they look amazing. Who helped you to put that into reality?
So there's this app called Fiverr, and basically you can go on there and you can find loads of what do you call it? The different illustrators, sorry. And they've all different types of skills, anything from logo design to website to video production to children's books. So I managed to find this guy. I think he's from Pakistan, and his first language isn't even English. Everything was by message, and it was a real challenge. But he's obviously amazingly talented, and it came out way better than I thought it would have done. But it's such a useful tool, that Fiverr, because say if you are like a young dentist coming through, you want to brand yourself. It's it's pretty cheap. You can go on there, you can get some good branding for maybe 60 quid, or like, it's not, you don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds. So it's hopefully a useful tip, that one.
Already dropping gems. Okay.
Yeah, dropping them.
I want to just rewind back to, where did you go to dental school? Where did you study? When did you qualify?
Yeah, so I went to school in Birmingham, so but I didn't actually get in first time round. So my CV, just my personal statement CV wasn't strong enough. So I took a gap year, and I actually went to do dentistry in India, or went to do some work experience in India, sort of watching what it was like, um, and and then I did some work in like a dental lab for a couple of months. And like at the end of it, I was taking photos and stuff whilst I was there, and I put it into a bit of a portfolio, and I took that into my Birmingham interview, and they were like quite impressed, and that's what got me in the end.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's where it started, Birmingham, which
What
was
was the
great.
experience like in Birmingham?
Birmingham was
Were
good.
you from
Like,
Birmingham originally, or did you?
I'm from Manchester, so I wanted to get out of Manchester and do something different. So Birmingham's, it's got everything. It's got the nightlife. It's got an amazing dental school. Obviously, they've got a brand new building which was built whilst we were there, which was opened by the Queen.
Okay.
I wasn't allowed to meet the Queen. I think I was too naughty, so they wouldn't let me near her. But yeah, it was quite cool because obviously they hadn't opened a new hospital in about 50 years, so she came to open the building. So yeah, great dental school. Had a really fun experience there, and then I did my VT interview,
Yeah.
and I just got it so wrong. For some reason, I just went in there and had the wrong attitude. I wore a green, like a khaki suit. It's a bit embarrassing to say, but I know it sounds stupid, but I think, looking right when you go into these interviews is important. And if I could go back in time, I would have worn a navy suit all day. Just because navy's just, it's more friendly. Khaki's like, it's just a bit of a weird, like maybe can come across that as arrogant. So I didn't get the interview right, and I ended up coming like 900th out of 1500 in the country. And I got ranked. I got my 15th choice for my VT training year.
Okay.
And when it first came up, it said Worcester, right? And I was like, I don't even know where that is. I had to search it on a map. I realised it was like 3.5 hours away by train.
Yeah.
From home, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know anyone in Worcester. What am I going to do? But it turned out to be a pretty good year for me. To be fair, it was
Awesome.
good.
Did you always feel like dentistry was the right choice? So when you started dental school to even doing your foundation year, did you feel like you'd made the right choice? Did you feel like?
No, no, I had so many people telling me, you don't look like a dentist, or you don't act like a dentist, or and that puts doubt in my mind. I just feel different to other people, just because maybe I was like, a little bit outgoing, and I wasn't fully set on dentistry. I still wanted to have a good time whilst I was at uni.
Yeah.
So yeah, it doesn't happen straight away, and I think I've come out of that thinking, okay, I don't fit the mold, but I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it, my own.
Yeah.
I'm going to carve my own path, and I feel like I'm doing that now. Starting to create my own brand, which is fun, and taking dentistry to a different way.
So yeah, let's get into that, because you've embraced your ability to rap. You're spitting bars. Is it
Bit bars?
spitting bars?
Yeah.
Stormzy instrumentals,
Oh,
all sorts. Singing as well. I think you got a track that you released.
yeah. Oh yeah, I've embarrassed myself and my friends a lot over the years. It's even if I have especially if I have a couple of drinks, then people get me to start rapping.
Yeah.
But yeah, how did it come about? So the very first time I started rapping about teeth was, so at Birmingham they do like talent shows.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I'll make it a little bit relevant. So um, Man's Not Hot came out, you know,
Yeah.
Big Shaq, and then I decided to do this parody, dental parody, and it was like, and it was really well received.
Yeah.
So that one was fun.
So the
And then,
brush and floss.
yes, he's done his research. Yeah, I did brush and floss. And I remember at the time, I'd written this song and I was ready to put it on YouTube. I'd done a video, and
Yeah.
the singing dentist literally posted on his Instagram, like, you know, a parody of the same song but with different lyrics. And I was gutted. I was like, oh my God, have a conversation with him. But yeah, in the end, obviously, he's the one that's blown up. I'm the one just doing dentistry.
Yeah, but no, it's I think it's quite interesting how you've merged your different interests and it's flowing with your career as a dentist. Would you say that just happened by mistake? It's just like a beautiful accident where you're
Yeah.
writing, you know, obviously the book for the kids. You go into schools, you're doing the parodies as well. Um,
Mm.
I don't think pediatrics. Well, I'll talk for me. I don't think pediatrics for me is my favorite thing. But
So
you
hard.
actually look
Especially
like
about.
this is something you're passionate about, making dentistry fun for children. Um, yeah, how did this all come together?
Yeah, I mean, it was an accident in a way, because I'll tell you exactly how it came about. So obviously, you know, I'd done that song to Man's Not Hot.
Mm,
That was at uni, and then I went to do my FD training. And whilst I was there, they wanted you to go into a school and speak to the kids.
yeah,
Um, and I was like, I've got an opportunity here to do something cool.
yeah,
So I ended up, obviously, I had loads of free time in Worcester. I was sitting there in my home, like, thinking of songs, and I wrote a song for kids, which was to "You're Welcome,"
mm,
which is written by Dwayne Johnson in Moana.
yeah,
And the first time I did it, so I went into the school, and I remember like 300 kids came into the hall, and I just thought to myself, "What am I doing?
yeah,
Like, this is ridiculous." And I started singing this song, and all the kids started laughing. I was like, "Oh my, this is so embarrassing! Like, they're laughing at me."
yeah,
But then I realised, wait, they're only primary school kids. They were actually like getting really excited, and then by the end, they were like clapping along to the song.
yeah,
Um, and that was just like a big buzz for me. I was like, "This is great! Like, they've obviously taken this on really well." Um, and then from that point, I just wanted to carry on doing it.
yeah.
So, and then, you know, branded it as Teach Teeth. I've since done, I think I've done about 12 primary schools, like across Manchester and Birmingham, and I've done like 3 or 4 secondary schools, which is a slightly different
Yeah.
theme,
That's big.
which is harder, definitely. As you can imagine, you know, in front of secondary school kids, like rapping,
Yeah.
went down okay. But yeah, that's sort of how it came about, really.
Yeah, but essentially, I guess, this is what dentistry is about. Actually, going beyond the surgery and actually connecting with people and showing them that, you know what, um, dentistry can be different. You have to be scared about dentistry, and you're actually going out there and changing that narrative, which I really think is quite cool. And
Very nice of you to
even the
say,
level of
man.
schools that you're talking about, yeah, this is whilst you're working a full-time job as a dentist. It's no easy feat. It's a sacrifice in some respects.
Yeah, I think you know, you've got to do what you know, enjoy. And I think, you know, with dentistry, you have to find what you enjoy and make sure that you are continuing to do that, because there's so many different things you can do. You can shape it whichever way you want. Um, so, you know, don't hide behind anything. Just sort of go for it. Really, I think if you've
Yeah.
got ideas.
For the dental students that are watching this, what are some things they could learn from, maybe from mistakes that you made, or maybe some good decisions that you made during dental school? What sort of advice would you give dental students?
Um, I'd say I made plenty of mistakes. um, but yeah, I think it's just really important that if you make mistakes, which you always do in dentistry anyway, that you don't sort of beat yourself up and think you can't do it, because that is what dentistry is about. You know, like, even if, I've had so many tutors over the years say to me, this is no good, you're no good. And you've got to really have a bit of a thick skin. And if you make mistakes, just make sure that you learn from them. Always be prepared, always be on time, and don't annoy any lecturers, because you got to always stay on side, always be schmoozing. That's what I'd probably do.
And then how about for newly qualified dentists who, you've come out of this shell of dental school, and then there's all these things happening, all these courses, all these opinions.
So many.
You can leave thinking, have I made the right career choice? People are saying this is 100%. The end, this is the worst, but some people are saying this is the best and this is amazing. So what sort of advice would you give to dental students that are newly qualified dentists that are just starting out?
I think it's really important to make sure that, you're not judgmental towards others, and, don't ignore others judging you if they are. I think the other thing is that, don't be scared to get stuck in straight away. There's no age is just a number. There's guys that are doing things at such a young age, like Afan, how old is he? Dr. Afan's like 30. And he's doing amazing things. So as soon as you come out, just get stuck in straight away, do the courses, make sure you're doing courses, make sure you buy materials, and try stuff. Make sure your patients are well informed about it, that, it might not be, you're trying things, but try stuff, do it on the cheap, and make sure you're taking photos as well. Buy a camera straight away. That is a big one.
So would you say at this stage, I think it's 2 years you've been practicing, would you say that you found the type of dentistry that you enjoy, or you're still trying to decide? Because this is a big thing with people, trying to figure out, what do I like? What should I press into?
Let the path choose you. Don't try and choose the path.
All right. Break that down.
There we go.
Down for us.
Mic dropped. Yeah. That's honestly what I'm starting to realize, is that, like, I'm doing stuff. I'm starting to, like, progressively do more complicated stuff, but I think it all depends on, how you feel. Keep trying new things, and sometimes it depends on what patients are coming in. So in my head, I'm thinking, I've got some plans to build my Instagram, and then once I've got patients coming in from my Instagram, and it's going to be those type of patients that will probably determine what I'm going to do going forward. For me personally. And, whether it's, more cosmetic or more restorative, I'm not sure. It's going to be between the two probably for me. But yeah, don't rush into choosing what you want to do. Just slowly hone it down.
Yeah. Are you enjoying being a general dentist? Do you feel like there's this burden to specialize?
I think everyone needs to specialize to some degree. But yeah, I do enjoy doing a mixture of things. Like I said, I still enjoy, like, seeing the kids. Like, I'm not saying I want to be in peds fully, but I like the engagement with the kids, and so I'd probably miss that if I specialised fully. But I'm sure in the future things will change. So we'll see.
And in terms of mentors and people that help you along the way, have you got that group of people? Or are you still trying to find that group of people? How are you working that out?
Yeah, I'm very lucky, to be honest. Like, I think, not everyone has the opportunity to have good mentors. My number one mentor is my dad. My dad's a dentist, has been for years. He's just semi-retired now. But he was doing NHS dentistry, and he's done loads of ortho. So he's the one to go to for buying equipment materials on the cheap. He knows all the websites and things like that. And he's created some opportunities for me. but I landed on my feet this first associate practice I went to.
Yeah.
The dentist there was basically where I wanted to be in 3 years. You know, he was doing some composite veneers and Invisalign and cosmetic treatment. So I've basically been able to follow him. So I think what I probably would recommend is that when you're looking for a practice, make sure that you speak to the associates when you go and search for the practice, and make sure there's an associate in there that you're going to get on with and that's doing the dentistry you want to do, because they're the person that you're going to be able to get hold of most. Whereas like if it's someone remote, so if you've got a remote mentor, you're not going to get the same support because we're all so busy. But with him, I was like, you know, we were going to the gym together, we were swimming, so I was with him all the time. I was just picking stuff up all the time. So that's what I'd probably recommend. Make sure you speak to the associates when you're looking for the practice.
Awesome. It's the one final question that I'd like to ask you, that I ask to many people, is what is dentistry to you?
Dentistry to me is a way of life. 100%. I'm becoming more and more like obsessed with it, and it's a way of life and it's a community, and I think we've all got to support each other, and you know, get on that train to progress into the future and become top dollar dentists.
Love it, love it. I want to just ask, where can we find you? If anybody wants to get in touch or see the amazing work that you're doing, where's the best place to find you?
So my Instagram is at Dr. Phil Dental at the moment, recently changed. And then if you want to have a look at some of the funny videos, you can search Teach Teeth and Dr. Phil on YouTube. You can find, I think I've done 5 or 6 videos. So if you're looking to have a bit of a laugh, then give that a search.
Awesome. And with the Teach Teeth, is that a book where dentists can recommend it to schools? Like, what's your idea with that?
So I think I've been halted by the fact that I can't really go out and promote it, which is what I need to do. I'm thinking with the book in the future that it'll be something that dentists can have in the practice, and they can give them to patients either just to have, you know, in the waiting room, or it's something that I'm going to get into schools and it's given out in schools. But you know, so far I've just been advertising it on social media, and you can buy it on Amazon. But I think, you know, it's going to be a timeless book for a while. So I'm hoping that I can get into those get them in schools and get them in dental practices, and hopefully it'll make a bit of a difference.
Awesome. Now, I'm sure it's already made a difference, especially with the stuff you've been doing in schools, and I'm sure it'll continue to make much more of an impact. Thank you, Dr. Phil, for coming on. We appreciate having you.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Guys, make sure to subscribe, turn on those notifications, find out more about what dentistry is about from dental students, dentists, and dental students are going to be making some more content for you. So continue staying tuned in.